It is believed he won tens of millions of dollars in high-stakes poker matches around the world. He mingled with billionaires and foreign gambling moguls. An indictment alleges he flew into the US with a duffel bag filled with nearly $1 million in poker winnings. Our sources suggest he crossed paths with Kevin Hart at a high-end resort in Greece. He apparently played in a $1 million streamed cash game while concealing his identity. But it all came crashing down when the feds came knocking. This is the story of Tom Goldstein. For 2 decades, Tom Goldstein was at the top of the legal world. He argued more cases before the United States Supreme Court than almost any private attorney, and founded SCOTUSblog, a legal blog that quickly became the go-to source for Supreme Court analysis. He lectured at Stanford and Harvard, and regularly appeared on national news programs to give Supreme Court analysis. But Tom Goldstein had another life. When he wasn't arguing before Supreme Court justices, Goldstein was flying to Hollywood or Hong Kong and winning or losing millions in ultra high-stakes poker matches. He played heads up against California businessmen and foreign gamblers, at one point allegedly winning over $50 million in just a few sessions. Goldstein's luck turned in January 2025 when a federal grand jury in Maryland initiated a 22-count indictment accusing the attorney of failing to report millions in poker winnings and diverting law firm funds to pay personal poker debts. The allegations in the indictment were stunning and quickly garnered national media attention. In addition to failing to report poker winnings, the federal government accused Goldstein of lying on mortgage applications and putting several women he had personal relationships with on the company payroll. But before digging into the indictment, let's talk about who Tom Goldstein is and why the charges against him were so shocking. Tom Goldstein's accomplishments as a lawyer really can't be overstated. He represented Vice President Al Gore in the 2000 presidential election dispute and, more recently, represented Google in a landmark case against Oracle. As his own bio page on SCOTUSblog states, he has represented clients in cases that span virtually all of federal law, including bankruptcy, disability law, employment discrimination, free speech, immigration, and trademarks. Goldstein began playing poker during the poker boom, and in 2008 traveled to Las Vegas to play the World Series of Poker main event. It was also around this time that Goldstein began playing in high-stakes cash games at the Bellagio, where he quickly developed a reputation as a reckless bluffer, an unpredictable opponent. Here's how one player described Goldstein's playing style in a 2+2 post titled "Craziest Poker Game of My Life." Tom went from 12K to over 100K, back down to about 20K, and then back up to over 100K. He ended with less than that, but he ended with a win. And he won over 18 hours, with every person at the table gunning for him, with every person in the poker room vying for seats in the game to take a shot at him. The game was so insane that even seasoned pros like Greg Muller and Johnny Chan were often coming over to witness the craziness of this game. At the Bellagio, Goldstein met and became friends with social media playboy Dan Bilzerian, who wrote in his 2021 autobiography that he has, quote, "never met anyone with less respect for money proportionate to their net worth than Tom." This was aptly demonstrated in 2011 when Goldstein bet Bilzerian $300,000 that his Ferrari could beat Bilzerian's AC Cobra around a Las Vegas racetrack. The autobiography goes on to detail how the two further negotiated that Bilzerian couldn't have sex or masturbate if he lost, while Goldstein would have to get high with Bilzerian if he lost. Goldstein lost the bet, and kept up his end of it, getting so high, according to Bilzerian's autobiography, that he left his Ferrari parked on the side of Las Vegas Boulevard outside the Bellagio. It was also around this time that Goldstein began representing poker clients. He represented Bilzerian in a 2014 lawsuit against an adult film actress who was injured by the social media playboy during a film shoot, and he testified on behalf of the Poker Players Alliance in the fight for legal online poker. Goldstein also represented Malaysian gambling mogul and high-stakes poker player Paul Pua in an illegal sports betting case, stemming from a 2014 FBI raid at Caesar's Palace. That case notably saw high-stakes poker pros Phil Ivey and Andrew Roble posting Pua's $2.5 million bail. At this point, Goldstein was fully immersed in poker, taking big gambles and swinging six figures. But the stakes were about to increase dramatically. According to January's indictment, Goldstein allegedly began playing in high-stakes poker matches in 2014, at stakes totaling millions and even tens of millions of dollars. Prosecutors say he financed these games by taking out millions of dollars in private loans. Fast forward 2 years, and Goldstein was playing in a series of heads-up matches against three ultra-wealthy individuals, referred to in the indictment only as Foreign Gambler 1, Foreign Gambler 2, and California Businessman 2. Goldstein went on a run that will go down as one of the biggest wins in poker history. He first won $13.8 million in his match against Foreign Gambler 1 in Asia before flying to Beverly Hills and winning $26.4 million from California Businessman 2. He then rounded out the heads-up matches by flying back to Asia and beating Foreign Gambler 1 out of $8.8 million. In total, Goldstein banked $50.8 million in profit over 77 hours, for an average win rate of $660,000, a calculation that he texted to two unnamed professional poker players whom he enlisted as coaches and backers. According to federal prosecutors, Goldstein failed to report these massive winnings on his 2016 tax form. The same year, Goldstein was allegedly involved in other heads-up and ring poker matches, in which he lost millions of dollars. To pay off these debts, Goldstein is said to have used funds from his law firm, Goldstein & Russell. Goldstein continued his heads-up matches into 2017 and generated substantial losses. He allegedly lost $10 million in a series of matches against California Businessman 3, where he had all of his action, meaning he was solely responsible for covering his losses. Prosecutors allege Goldstein diverted legal fees from his law firm to cover these losses, and even contacted a lawyer at another firm to see if they would be interested in investing $500,000 in his poker matches, all while withholding the fact that he was already down $10 million. Goldstein secured backers for later matches, but still lost $16 million. By mid-2018, he still owed $6 million on his 2014 loan. These high-stakes ventures continued for several years. In 2018, Goldstein flew to the U.S. from Hong Kong with a duffel bag containing nearly $1 million in poker winnings. Winnings that prosecutors say he later falsely claimed as a loan to the IRS. Goldstein disputed this in a later court filing. When he wasn't playing, Goldstein used his legal prowess to help out poker players. When a Texas billionaire refused to pay out the $15.6 million he owed to a Hollywood actor from a December 2019 poker match, Goldstein helped the actor collect their winnings. Prosecutors say Goldstein used the $500,000 legal fee owed to his firm to pay down his poker debts. All told, prosecutors say Goldstein allegedly did not report, or falsely understated, millions of dollars of gambling winnings on his tax returns. Between 2016 and 2021, with the exception of 2018, they say Goldstein allegedly did not pay the taxes he self-reported were due on his returns, while simultaneously spending millions of dollars on personal expenses, such as gambling debts, travel, vacation rentals, and luxury goods. But Goldstein isn't going out without a fight. When he was indicted, Goldstein quickly pleaded not guilty to all counts and recruited top attorneys who had represented President Donald Trump. Mr. Goldstein is a prominent attorney with an impeccable reputation, the attorneys wrote in a statement provided to PokerNews shortly after the indictment. We are deeply disappointed that the government brought these charges in a rush to judgment without understanding all of the important facts. Our client intends to vigorously contest these charges, and we expect he will be exonerated at trial. While a jury trial isn't scheduled to start until 2026, this high-profile case has hardly slowed down since January's indictment. In February, Goldstein was arrested and detained as a serious risk of flight after prosecutors claimed to have found hidden crypto wallets that they alleged Goldstein used to conduct seven-figure transfers, a violation of his bail terms. Goldstein denied ownership of the wallets and said the government had made a mistake, pointing out that one transaction took place while he was in custody, which would have been impossible for him to make. A federal judge later ordered Goldstein's release from custody, noting that given the information that Mr. Goldstein has now presented, the court is no longer convinced, by clear and convincing evidence, that Mr. Goldstein violated his conditions of release. The judge added, however, that he was still highly suspicious that Mr. Goldstein has used cryptocurrency while on conditions of release, noting that he has used cryptocurrency to pay for everything from gambling losses to luxury watches for multiple women. The judge ordered Goldstein not to send or receive crypto while awaiting trial, and for his electronic devices to be monitored. He was previously ordered not to play poker. The crypto wallets dispute also revealed more about Goldstein's high-stakes poker winnings, with prosecutors alleging that he has continued his criminal non-disclosure of cryptocurrency transactions and millions of dollars of income, including $12 million in net gambling winnings in 2022 and $10 million in 2023. Goldstein allegedly won $51 million gambling against a single unnamed opponent in a 2-year period between May of 2022 and May of 2024. Prosecutors also say Goldstein lost a substantial sum of money in high-stakes poker matches at a July 2024 birthday party in Greece, which PokerNews learned and reported and was rumored to be that of A-list actor Kevin Hart. That party appeared to be attended by high-stakes poker pros, including Antonio Esfandiari, Andrew Roble, Bill Perkins, and Eddie Ting. And, as PokerNews also learned and was the first to report, Goldstein was rumored to be the mystery player in the 2024 Hustler Casino Live $1 Million game, where the mystery player lost $2.7 million over 2 sessions and mucked this winning hand in a $500,000 pot.
Call.
Steve makes the call.
I didn't hear what you said. Oh, okay. Alan,
Whoa.
you want 25K chips?
Thomas folded. I'm not sure if he misread his hands.
Yeah. Should I feel slighted?
Or he thought he was bluffing.
PokerNews spoke with the player who was on the winning end of that hand. Here's what he had to say.
So I played a couple of infamous hands. That one, I had no idea. So I didn't know until an hour later. I was interviewed, and I was told during the interview, "Did you know that he folded the straight? How does that make you feel?" I'm like, it makes me feel like an idiot because I played it bad, but I still got to keep the money.
As one of the most accomplished lawyers in the country, it should be no surprise that Goldstein is aggressively fighting his case. In addition to pleading not guilty to all charges, Goldstein has accused the government of intentionally misleading the court and otherwise acting in bad faith. He has also appealed his release terms, arguing that the monitoring of his electronic devices is a drastic condition of release that compromises his ability to communicate privately with his attorneys. Nevertheless, U.S. District Judge Lydia K. Grigsby ruled in March 2025 that the monitoring condition is the least restricting condition to assure the defendant's reasonable appearance and to enforce the conditions of his pretrial release. Goldstein later asked Judge Grigsby to dismiss the criminal charges against him, filing an array of motions and accusing the government of withholding information beneficial to the defense. According to Reuters, Goldstein contended he filed a tax return each year identified in the indictment and paid the outstanding taxes with penalties and interest. He also asked the judge to throw out statements he made to customs officials related to a duffel bag of cash he carried through customs in 2018, arguing that he should have been advised of his right to remain silent. Goldstein retired from legal practice in 2023 and is no longer associated with the legal blog he founded, SCOTUSblog, which was acquired by The Dispatch in April of 2025. In January of 2025, John Lauro of Lauro & Singer and Christopher Keiss of Continental, at the time trial counsel for Goldstein, provided PokerNews with the following statement. Mr. Goldstein is a prominent attorney with an impeccable reputation. We are deeply disappointed that the government brought these charges in a rush to judgment without understanding all of the important facts. Our client intends to vigorously contest these charges, and we expect he will be exonerated at trial. As of recording, Goldstein's trial is scheduled to get underway in January 2026. PokerNews will continue to monitor the case and will report on any developments along the way. While it's too early to know how things will pan out, the federal case against Goldstein offers a fascinating glimpse into the world of ultra high-stakes poker, and delivers a cautionary reminder that sometimes the stakes can get too high.